This is Divine. Thanks for tuning in. So for my last video, I am going to be filing a federal lawsuit against the judge who ultimately has been the one making these unconstitutional decisions, bias, showing pure bias against myself and my children, showing no care for the life of my children. If you look at the details of my case, um, it reads as a mafia style ruling where they side unilaterally with my ex-husband only, regardless of law. So there were a couple of times where my attorney's like, it's unlawful. For example, forcing religion, specifically Catholicism, in my children. And at the time, they hadn't a guardian. It was a 50-50 timeshare. And I have 50% say, and I declined specifically based on religion. And because of our First Amendment, the judge couldn't rule against it. What did the judge say? He said, "You're right, but we will postpone this for whatever reason." There was no legal grounds to postpone it. We had a motion, we had a hearing, but the judge didn't want to agree to it. So he said instead, we'll postpone it for another day. That's what he said in the motion. What did he write? He wrote that he denied it. It's crazy. And it's completely illegal. It's unconstitutional, like I said. So the judge is also using what I call weaponized incompetence. Makes a lot of errors, makes a lot of mistakes, and to them, they don't care about me or my children. So to them, they say, "Oh, it's a minor error, but it will affect our lives entirely," as it has. For example, as I previously explained on the details of my case, they relocated my children and they wanted me to relocate, and I said I wouldn't. You'll be forcing me to. And then the judge said she agreed to the relocation when I didn't. So these errors aren't minor. They're life altering errors that this judge has been doing on purpose, and he shows the purpose. He just like mocks me. He's like, "I don't give a fuck." And in his attitude and in his ruling, it's been showing. So it's like a judge with such authority in such a state, reminder that the state of Florida protects their judges. So there are no checks and balances in the state of Florida because it's a police state. It's a authoritative state. It's a communist state, basically, where the state runs everything. So the state protects the judges. There are no checks and balances. You can't go up against the judge. You can't prove that he's biased and request him to be removed from your case due to bias. It's like you got this judge, and if the judge doesn't say, "Yes, I'm biased, she needs a new judge," I won't get a new judge. It's like, are you insane? So unless the judge recuses himself, I cannot get a new judge. It's crazy shit. Like crazy fucking shit. It's completely unconstitutional, it's un American to not have checks and balances. And, I'm an American. I'm an American citizen and I deserve to have American rights. It's crazy. But so I'm going to be pursuing that. If you want, like I said, any links to the information I get or which AI I'm going to be using to help me type in the legality of the issue, I can also um, give you a link if you want. But as an update, for example, how batshit crazy it is. In the most recent motion where they actually took my children from me, there's no order in place. I told my attorney I'm gonna call the police and because it's kidnapping. And she said I can't because there was a motion. And listen to this. The motion was not recorded. The motion has no transcripts. And nobody, it was a Zoom motion because I don't live in that state. Pedophile, godforsaken state, thank God. But I'm trying to get my children out of there. Um, Nobody recorded it, and there are no transcripts. So it's like the motion never happened. So I'm like, there's no proof it ever happened. So it's kidnapping. She's like, no, they're gonna write a motion. So when it, mind you, they took my children away. Out, like I said, based on some guardians vibes, the vibes she got off me. By the way, she never interviewed me. So she had a 5 second vibe from me, never interviewed me, never requested to interview me. Um, but she said that I was dodging her. I'm like, did you try to contact me? She's like, no. It's your attorney's job to contact. Then she tried to dodge it to the attorney, who's no longer on my case. And I'm like, you reach me for money. You reach me to collect on the work you're doing on my kids very poorly because she's not representing my kids. But you feel so bad about my energy that you won't feel the urgency to contact me directly to interview me. And she couldn't answer it. My attorney brought this up on the motion. The judge said, I believe her. She doesn't have to prove anything she's saying. I kid you not. The judge is, he just doesn't give a fuck. He doesn't give a fuck about the law, doesn't think anyone's gonna come after him. So he keeps ruling like however he feels like. He's like, oh yeah, you don't need to prove anything. I believe you. And I'm the judge, so I can do whatever I want. And that's how he rules. Doesn't care about constitutional rights, civil rights, doesn't care about the laws. He's like, I have all the power. Florida gave me the power to treat you like shit if I feel like it. And if I feel like children are worthless, I'm going to treat them like that. And that's what he does. Doesn't want to listen to my children. Like I said, my daughter's a teenager. My son is a year away from being a teenager. And he just like, they're too young to know what they want. I'm like, I'm sorry, what? Because Florida doesn't have standardized age where they can be heard by the court. So the court treats teenagers like toddlers. They're like, no, they can't speak. They're minors. I'm like, they're teenagers. Okay, they're not toddlers. They can think. They have some sort of logic. I'm not saying they're gonna go out and drink, but they can speak on their preference and what kind of life they want to have. Oh no, they're minors. They can't speak for themselves. I swear, Florida is so fucking retarded. It's insane. So then I'm like, I'm the mother. I'm telling you, oh, it's he or she say because they're not here to say and confirm they said that. I'm like, yeah, because you won't listen to them directly. It's crazy. It's like a never ending bullshit. And that's how the state is because the state wants to control your fucking children. Like the pedophile fucking state that they are. Like who the fuck goes after children? Pedophiles. So Florida is very pedophilic. I mean, Jeffrey Epstein case started in Florida for a reason. And nobody talks about it. Where it started, Florida motherfuckers. Like Florida likes to pretend and wants to place themselves as the state that's on the right side of history. No, It's on the side of the pedophiles. And that's always the wrong side of history. So, like, I'm concerned. And, you know, doing this lawsuit to go to the federal courtroom, I don't know if it's going to work. But, it's the only thing I got because the state of Florida seems to be incapable of challenging this judge, because I did go to the Florida Commissioners of Judge and filed a complaint against this judge for false narratives, falsifying information that I didn't say in many other occasions. He just lies, and that's falsifying information, and that's a huge red flag for a judge. Misconduct, but it's been over a year. So all I can do is file more complaints, against the commissioners of judge in Florida and the bar, and take it to a federal court. That's all I can do, sadly. But Florida seems to be a state where they don't do anything about these kinds of judges. And that's how I'm telling you, it's like a mafia. And unless the state can show that they're willing to uphold the law, it's going to be a mafia, which I was hoping it wasn't. I was hoping and praying that Florida would be more serious about holding judges accountable, but they're showing me that they're not, based on their lack of action taken against this judge. This judge needs to be out of my case. He needs to be sat down and investigated. And while under investigation, this judge needs to cease to have any rulings because he's terrible. He's unethical. He has too many misconducts and he's unfit to be a judge. So that's what needed to happen. But Florida just sits on their ass. I hope a year is long enough to investigate and look at my files and look at my transcripts, but haven't heard from them, haven't seen any action taken, haven't seen this judge removed from my case. And as a matter of fact, he just allowed my children to be taken from me based on vibes, like vibrations, like vibes, based on feelings of a guardian, not facts, not an interview. Like I said, she met me for like 5 seconds because she was just there to talk to my kids. So I introduced myself. I said, and then she said she had bad vibes. Never interviewed me. Never. If you're having bad vibes about a mother and you feel for real, truthfully, worried, you will do anything to contact the mother and interview. Oh no, she didn't. She just said, I don't contact people directly. But then she contacted me the day after the motion, asking me for money. I'm like, I thought you said you don't contact people directly. Oh, but for money you do. I said, I'm not going to pay you because you're terrible at your job. A guardian ad litem that's supposed to represent children, you're supposed to be working for the best interest of my children, and you don't even contact me to interview me, but you will contact me to ask me for money. I said, I'm not going to pay you. And so she never contacted me ever again after I responded to her. It's crazy. The unprofessionalism in Florida, and mind you, this is in Miami, Florida, in case I didn't specify at some point. It's in Miami, Florida. It's crazy. And I can't believe it's happening in an American state. I'm not Hispanic, um, but my country is it's part of the BRICS. They call it emerging markets. So I know my country is not considered supposedly a third world country, technically speaking. Economic, like The correct term is an emerging market. It's different than a third world country, believe it or not, economically speaking, if you want to be more accurate. And though some people consider the BRIC countries all third world countries, so but those are people's opinion. Economically speaking, they're emerging markets. My country is way better than the shithole in Miami, Florida. Like they are acting like a shithole Cuban third world country because there are too many Cubans. The judge is Cuban descendant. My ex husband is Cuban descendant. The people working under the judge are Cuban descendant. It's crazy. Then they start speaking Spanish in the middle of the courtroom with each other. Like, hey, do you want some coffee? In Spanish, all in Spanish. And then they start in Spanish. And I'm like, I thought we were in America. No, we weren't. And there's just so many problems besides and then the Catholic school they're trying to force on my children, all Cubans. I went to sit down with the teacher, try to explain to the teacher my children's situation because my son is being very rebellious against being there because he doesn't want to be there. And my daughter doesn't like being there. But they're like, oh, she's having good grades. Oh, she's having good grades because she's smart and she likes having good grades. She's a nerd, you know. That's who she is. They're like, oh, because she's having good grades, that means she likes. I'm like, no, it doesn't. Did you ask her? She's a teenager. She can talk, and she will say to you like she doesn't want to be here, and she does. And their delusional minds, their response was, "You're coaching them." Oh my God. I swear to God. So their response to my children being so rebellious and my daughter clearly stating, because she's so smart. So she's very well spoken. She can clearly state anything she wants, and she stated very clearly. She doesn't want to be there, doesn't want to see my ex husband, their father, wants to live with me permanently, and my son agrees. So both my children are saying the same things. They want to live with me permanently, forever. And they got mad that my kids want nothing to do with my ex husband. They got offended. I kid you not. The judge, the guardian, and my judge's attorney, they all got offended that my children specifically said they don't like my ex husband. And mind you, he has a history of domestic violence with my kids. So, I mean, there are reasons for my children not to like him. I mean, the guy bruises my girl. She arrived home bruised. So I called the police and filed reports and got a protection order for my kids against him for like a month. And they're like, I don't understand why your kids don't like their father. He's such a great father. You're coaching them. I swear to God, this was happening to me. And that's why I say it's crooked. It's pure corruption because the proof is there. There's paperwork proving, there's a protection order that took place, there are police reports, there's a history. Every time there's an encounter where my ex husband hurts my children, bruises my little girl, cuts my son's face, I report it. So there are reported factors. There are pictures. I take pictures. My girl's bruises in her arms, in her wrists, by her shoulders. I have all those pictures. So there's proof. I'm not just making it up. But the judge, I swear, he's such a great father. How dare you file these frivolous filings against this upstanding father? You're coaching your children now. We will take your kids away from you because you're a horrible mother. That's what happened in court. I wish I was lying. I wish I wasn't living this fucking crazy motherfucking nightmare. But I am. And that's why. I get concerned because it's crazy, and I honestly am concerned because who goes after children and who gives 100% guardianship to an abuser? So it's not like I'm making it up. There are proof, there are protection orders in place, all submitted. But somehow it gets twisted that I'm the bad mother, that I'm coaching my children who are basically all teenagers, and that this is what they said. What was it? I was in a campaign to hurt my ex-husband's reputation. I'm like, what reputation? Like, there's pictures, I can prove it. My children can speak. My children remember the instances. They'll tell you how aggressive he is. My son, he cut my son's forehead. He was the latest happening. Cut my son's forehead with his fingernails when he pushed him to the ground, and just left him bleeding on timeout. And after like an hour, decided to go clean his bruise and stuff and the blood that he had on his face. It's like my girl, he grabbed her by the hair and dragged her across the room and put her in a closet with no light and darkness in a closet for like an hour because she told him, I hate you. I want to live with mommy. And because of that, he dragged my daughter across the living room by her hair, locked her inside a closet, a dark closet, for like an hour because she said what she felt. She hates him and she wants to be with me. And God forbid. And so the judge said, oh, you're coaching them. Right. I'm brainwashing my children to hate the father who's a fucking abusive ass piece of shit towards my children. And I'm like, are you stupid? Yes, they are on purpose. That's what I call weaponized incompetence, where they pretend to be stupid, but they know exactly what they're doing. So it's not pure stupidity. They know what they're doing. They know they're dodging bullets, trying to pretend to be incompetent. That's why I say weaponized incompetence, because it's not real incompetence. It's pretend, plain dumb, so they can fuck me over, my children over. And anybody who tries to fuck children over are scumbags, are evil motherfuckers. And it's been over a month already. It's gonna be 2 months now. There's no motion going back to my case, the legality of things. There's still no motion in place. They took over a month to write a motion for the order. After there's a motion, I'm sorry, I apologize. There was a motion, but the motion doesn't exist because it wasn't transcribed. It wasn't transcribed, it wasn't recorded, so it doesn't exist. So in order to exist, there's got to be an order based on the motion. So they have to write an order. They took 1 month to write a shitty order full of lies. So I'm like, they're literally lying. My attorney's like, yes, they are. And my attorney said next time we have to pay for things to be transcribed because the court's not recording. And, you know, the motions are all lies. And he's signing a bunch of lies. And she's like, I'm going to file a motion contesting this based on the fact that it's not true and it's all lies. I'm going to write a real motion. I mean, a real order based on the motion, meaning write exactly what happened on the motion and what was said and see if they'll sign it. And it's been almost 2 months. And during those 2 months, they just took my children away from me. And according to the motion, to the order, that's not supposed to happen. They took my children away from me, but I was supposed to see them in some weekends at least. Oh, and they took my children away from me to give to the abuser, to the child abuser, to the domestic violence abuser, piece of shit of my ex husband, because apparently they convinced themselves that I'm coaching my children to hate my ex husband. I don't have to coach my children to hate a child abuser, somebody who abuses them. It's natural to hate an abuser. Nobody wants to be abused, people. So when I say Florida is the pedophile fucking state, it is because they try to push abuse as a normal thing. Oh, if you get beat up, they didn't break your bones. It's very Islamic. It's very Muslim and Islamic. But many Jews live there. For example, my ex-husband's attorney is a Jew, but very Islamic type of Jew, which is weird. It's weird. A Jew acting Islamic. That's his attorney. But it's very I don't have words other than explain and cry about it. So I apologize, but my situation is very crazy. Yeah, so it's from the process, right? Taking 2 months to write an order based on emotion is again weaponized incompetence. It's the kind of incompetence that prolongs the pain, right? I'm not supposed to be without my kids for 2 months. That was not stated in the motion, but they're doing that on purpose to make sure I have no contact with my children for this long while they resolve all the lies and the flaws that they come up with, which is called weaponized um prolonging of the process. They know what they're doing. They know if they just say a bunch of lies, I have to object. And meanwhile, while we're on this limbo, I don't have access to my children because they're using technicalities to cause a tremendous amount of damage to my relationship with my kids. Like who wants to hurt the mother of children? Children My children grew very close to me, and my ex-husband hated it. I don't know why. I have an ex-husband who wants to be a mother. He's a fucking pussy. He's a little dick pussy. But a man trying to be a mother to children, it's the most what the fuck thing. And the judge is trying to help him. I'm like, why would you help a guy be a woman? Like, he's not a mother. He's a fucking piece of shit child abuser. And there's history to prove it. There are pictures, there's a bunch of paperwork trail to prove it. But he's trying to be a mother. I'm a fucking mother. I birthed my children. I have a vagina, I have a uterus, and I give birth to my children. But my ex husband is trying to be the mother. It's crazy shit. I'm. I don't know. It's just crazy. I wish it wasn't true. I wish this was not happening to me, but it is. Since 2020, and it started way before then. That's when he left the house, filed for divorce, but wants to take everything away from me. Go figure. It started in around 2015. I had a great career. My background is in finance, investment banking, and I worked with a great team, a very high producing team. We were great together, me and my team. called us the 18. But he my ex-husband was unemployed, went to law school. He had to forge his documents to get into law school. His grades were so bad, he couldn't go to law school in America. So he left America to go to the UK, to United Kingdom, to get a law degree there. Because there in the United Kingdom, they don't have the electronic transcripts where you just transfer data because they're not American. So he took the physical records, altered it manually, and went into the UK with forged transcripts so he could get into a law school because he wouldn't be able to go to law school in America. Because in America, you do the digital thing, and the digital thing, you can't manually forge it like he did. And that should have been a red flag. And that's why I say when you see a red flag, like see it for what it is. But young me, I'm like, oh, at least he tries hard. I want to say this to younger women. If somebody does something wrong once, they'll most likely do it again. And it seems harmless. It seems, oh, he's just trying to go to law school, so what? His grades weren't so good. It's lying. Forging your documents is lying. So that means he was never good enough. The reason why we have standards and we have grades and we have, if you don't meet certain standards, you can't get in, because we want to vet the kinds of professionals we want to have. So imagine if this judge was vetted, he wouldn't be here. Imagine if my ex-husband was vetted in the United Kingdom, he wouldn't be here. So vetting matters. And if you meet someone or you're friends with someone or anyone near you that has a similar story and that you feel, well, it hasn't harmed anyone yet. So I just like, again, I do this for awareness. This is not gonna necessarily help my case, but you bring awareness, I hope. And for young women out there, don't look away from when somebody is lying, manipulating, and forging documents. Those are serious offenses, even though at a young age you may not look at it that way. It is. I want you, please, if you would take anything from this, take from personal experience. At first, it looks harmless. It looks like, oh, he was just trying. And it shows that he's the type of person that if he doesn't fit or meet the requirements, he will lie, cheat, and steal to pretend he does. And you have to remember why we have merit and why we have requirements, because we want top notch professionals who will hold the law, who uphold the law, who will follow the law, not learn the law to then break it and use the legal system to fuck someone over because you have a little dick ego and you can't handle the fact that I'm a good mother and you want to be a mother and a man wants to be a mother. That's crazy shit to me. Um, but I'm dealing with this and it sucks. I wouldn't want anyone out there going through what I'm going through. So keep in mind, anyone who lies, red flag. Anyone who forges documents, red flag. Like, one thing is if you call someone and say, do you want me to sign on your behalf? And you said yes. And you have this confirmation either via text and you talked about it and they sign it. It's different. We're talking about somebody who couldn't meet the requirements to go to law school, forged the transcripts, to say that he did so he can go to a school that he didn't qualify for. That's huge red flag. When you're young, you don't think about it that way, but you'll catch up. So if someone feels comfortable lying, manipulating, and forging documents long enough, they do it again and again and again and again. And then it becomes part of the system. And if these are people with access, like attorneys, like judges, then it makes the whole legal system a shit show. And that's why I'm bringing up, because the times in right now, you see the legal system not working. Laws are not being upheld. Like, people are not upholding the law, and they know what the law is. It's clearly stated in a piece of paper. But if there's no one there to uphold the law correctly, why do we have laws? That it becomes a lawless situation. And this is what's happening in my case. It's lawless because you're not following laws. But and then the problem with the state of Florida, if you give so much power to a freaking judge, the judge will feel so comfortable to lie and deceive and, have weaponized incompetence, make so many errors that you fuck someone over, multiple people over, because it's me and my children, that they get comfortable because the power they hold, no oversight, they're going to keep doing it. They're going to have somebody they have bad vibes about, and then they're just going to fuck them over because I had a bad vibe about you. I'm going to fuck you over. What the fuck? So, you know, all I can do is talk about it. It's crazy shit. I wish I wasn't going through this. And I wish this hasn't been happening for this long, but it has been. And like I said, it started about more than 10 years ago. He was jealous. Like I said, I had a very successful position and job with a very successful team. I come from the finance world, so, I was well connected through my job. I have history with successful people. And he was a nobody, even though he went to law school in the UK because he couldn't go to the law school in America. He was jobless when he came back. He worked like as a security guard when I met him, trying to have money to attend the bar. Didn't pass it. Took forever to pass it too. Not the brightest kid. That all should be red flags. You think, oh, he's a lawyer. We're gonna be a lawyer. It doesn't matter if it doesn't pass the first time. And again, I'm gonna talk about merit and vetting. Vetting is very important, not just for professionals. You should be vetting who you take into your life as a friend, as anything, because people, and you will see once you start vetting, most people suck. And then you see the real problem. Our society lost its merit. So everyone is like sucky, but not as bad as my ex-husband, because wow, he's a man trying to be a mother. It's strange. Like, why would you want to be a mother? I'm a mother. I'm the mom. I'm the one with the uterus who birthed my children. It's crazy to me what's happening. It's literally a guy, a man, a grown ass man who's not grown. He's like immature little bitch trying to be a woman, like a mother. So the quality of people has dropped. Their mental is not there. And I'm not saying I'm the best person. I'm not, but I'm not trying to be a man. It's like a man trying to be a woman mother. I know who I am. I know what I am to my children. I am their everything. I am their mother. But you have this guy trying to take away my children's mother, which is me. It to me is beyond evil. It's inversion. It's devilish in its nature. And I feel because we lost our merits, we lost our morals. This is what's happening. There are many other cases similar to mine, not exactly like mine, that I've heard, and it's just we allowed, and like I said, at a young age, I was like, oh, it's not a big deal because they're not hurting people, but they are. They're not hurting people yet. Do you understand? For the younger people out there, I'm trying to bring to light that even when you when something done wrong looks innocent at first because there were no victims at first, does not mean that 10 years or 20 years down the line that person will not create victims, because they will, but they'll find a way to make it legal. And now we have a lot of victims like me, my children, who are victims of horrible crimes, but they try to make it legal by using the legal system, by using weaponized incompetence, by using problems in the process so you're without your children for all this time. So they're using judges, they're dirty and corrupt, and they're willing to use their power to fuck people over. So it's worse because they will try to legalize criminal acts, which is where we are today in our society. Majority of the criminals are wearing suits, and they're part of the system that's fucking us over, and we're the victims, and we're fighting this alone. So just putting it out there for awareness, and try to create a more vetting process for who you take in as a family, as a friend, as who you allow in your table. At this point, I barely have people after I started this new process. It's very challenging, but also I'm very affected by this. So I'm not out there looking for friends. I'm out here trying to solve my problems. So, and they do this on purpose. They don't want you out there creating community. They don't. They want you here stuck trying to solve your problems because you're by yourself, because no one's helping you. So you have to help yourself. And they're succeeding. Uh, so, for those who are not affected yet, haven't been targeted yet, try to have merit in a vetting system and try to have morals and try to stand on them at all times. Don't eat with people who lie. Don't share bread or wine with people who deceive. They may not have caused victims yet, but they will. And by you eating with them, sharing bread with them, sharing a table, sharing wine, you aid them, you help them, you give them a support system, and you're supporting someone fuck someone over, whether you know it or not. So it's best to create, in my opinion, and this is what I do. What you do with your life is your problem. I'm not telling people what to do. From my personal experience, this is what I've come to know, is that we need to have a vetting process to who we allow in our homes, in our lives, and in our groups, because you are supporting someone. And if you didn't vet them, they may be someone who will fuck someone over, and you will be guilty by association because you didn't vet well enough. And a lot of these things starts young, and we're not teaching our youth to be picky and vet well. We're teaching them have as many likes as possible. Be popular. How many likes did you get? How many followers do you get? It's not about quantity. It's about quality. It's best to have three ride or die friends who will never lie to you, who will not manipulate, forge documents, or pretend to be somebody else, than to have a million followers that constantly lie, that constantly pretends to be someone they're not, and constantly, and that's for like, that's pretending to be somebody else. And if they go as far as forging like legal documents, that's more serious than most people like to think. Um, it starts looking innocent, and they'll say, "Oh, but nobody got hurt," and you were like, "Oh yeah, it's true, nobody got hurt." But remember how they'll try to legalize criminal activities so they can fuck someone over so bad that they don't need to cut you up, they don't need to knife you, they don't need to shoot you. They can systematic fuck you over using the system. Maybe we can call it systemic fuck over. You know, they use the word systemic racism. Oh no, that doesn't even exist. But systemic fucking over people does exist. And it's more criminal in a lot of ways because it's harder to prove. The burden of, and I have proof. So to me, it's not like it's hard to prove, but it's hard to find someone who will do a damn thing about it because the judge is protected by the state. So the state's clearly telling me it's not going to pursue it or haven't told me. But I didn't file a complaint. But that's all I got. So you really, in a state like that, that is tyrannical, communist, and who protects their judges, you're fucked. And they know it. They know the power they carry. So it's like impossible. And they do it on purpose. And they know this exists in the system and they look away. They do nothing about it on the federal level. And that's another problem. No one's willing to fix the system where it needs fixing, which is the entire Department of Justice system. The county judges, the local judges, the state judges, the federal judges, is all throughout. Look at scouts. You know, it's all throughout the Department of Justice system because they're all dirty. They don't follow their oath. They don't stand by their oath. And we all get fucked because of it. I'm not the only one. I know this. There are many more. And for those, like I said, who hasn't been affected, hasn't been targeted like we have, and I have, this is about me right now. Keep your eyes open and be picky. Don't let anybody say you're too picky. There's no such thing. Okay? They're trying to gaslight you into lowering your standards. And we don't need that right now. We need people to have standards. We need our standards like super high. So we can't let this happen. Well, there's nothing that can be done, or it doesn't look like it for my case. I hope Florida falls through. I hope Florida gets this fucking judge off my case. I really do. I pray and I hope. That's all I can do. Pray and hope for a miracle. Um, but for you guys out there, you still have hope. Have high standards. Don't let people gaslight you to lower your standards to be like them. I didn't either, but my story is complicated. like I said, at first it looks innocent. Nobody got hurt. It's true. But you don't realize the the mental, the kind of mindset these people have. At first, it doesn't look innocent. I've never forged it. I'm not that type. I don't have that mindset. Like, so what I've noticed is I'm like, one kind of person, right? The type who will tell the truth and do things the right way. And I'm like, if you didn't meet the merit, you didn't really make it. I'm very, if I'm make it, it's because I did it, not because I lied about it. Because I need that true victory. But that's who I am. These people are not like us. They just want the power. Like, they just want a certification. If they have to lie about it, they'll lie about it. If they can forge a document, they'll do it. So the mindset is very different. It's not a true warrior. I made it because I made it. No, they lied. They didn't make anything. They never made it to anything because they had to lie, cheat, and steal their way through things. So their mindset's very different from ours. At first, it doesn't look like it's that big of a deal. It looks innocent at first because no one got hurt. True. But if you understand their mindset, you understand in the future, someone will get hurt. And they'll lie, cheat, and steal to get out of the guilt. They don't feel guilty. So, what I mean is to get out of the accusations, to try to pin it to somebody else. Do you understand? That's the kind of people they are. The kind of people who cannot take accountability for their mistakes. Because when you try to do something because you made it, because you pushed yourself, because you pushed yourself to the limit and you made it happen. You have that confidence, that clarity. No, I deserve this because I made it. Those people don't have that. They don't have the confidence we do because they never made it anywhere. They lied, they signed, they forged documents, and that's how they make it to places. So they don't have that integrity, that mindset, that victor, being a victor in our own way is important. They don't have that spirit. They have the spirit of a thief, of someone who can't be held accountable because they never have. They'll just like, oh, I'll forge this document and somebody else will be accountable, not me. So the mindset is very telling. And that's what I mean. Yes, it's innocent, absolutely. But the vetting that we must have is about people's mindset. If they don't make it, you know what? Go back in line and try again until you do. Because that forges something inside of you that creates character. These people who just steal, lie, and cheat, they don't have character because they never took the time to forge it inside themselves. And that's why I want to leave it. So thank you for staying tuned. I know it was a little long, but I had to go into more details and hopefully it'll bring some sort of clarity and help and awareness. And if anybody wants to help me with the Florida Commissioners of Judge to go after this judge, I would appreciate it. But like I said, it's not like I don't have an attorney. I do. My attorney is very good. She's Jewish, but she's like the good Jew. um, it's not like I don't know where to go to file a complaint. I do know, and I did. It's just no one's doing a damn thing about it. So it's not that I don't know where to go and that I don't have an attorney. I have all those things. It's just there's no one to hold this motherfucker accountable. And I don't have that power. Like I said, I even appealed my stuff, and even the appeal court, they're lying. So that's why I say it's a mafia. It's Prove me wrong, please. I would love to tell a different story. I would love to be telling a different story. I really would. I would love to be saying my life is a fairy tale, but it isn't. It's a nightmare. It's a it's like slow death, you know? But I hope this helped you. Um or it's just a real horror story for the ones who like horror stories. You can listen to my stories, you know. They're very horrific. I hope you have a great day. Please comment if you interested in my links or whatever. Please like, subscribe. It's a new channel. I don't know what else to do but to post and put the information out there. Like I said, no one's doing a damn thing, so I have to try to help myself. It's all I have, and it's all my children have is me. So, thank you very much.